Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. You join me and this Yeti looking guy in Stokesley. Is it Stokesley?
Have you ever seen what a Yeti looks like? I'm pretty sure a Yeti doesn't wear super dry. And I think we are in Stokesley, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Somewhere up north.
Somewhere in Yorkshire. Yorkshire.
Yeah, by God, it's grim up north. And look at the weather, it is grim.
And we are here thanks to Goodyear, because Goodyear is sponsoring this video once again. If you didn't know, I visited Snetterton a few months ago testing the Eagle F1 Supersport Rs on my Fiesta ST180. And this guy was meant to be there, but he decided to round off a caliper bolt because he thinks he's Bob the Builder.
Well, I mean, if a certain part supplier sent me the right parts to begin with, it would never have happened. So, I mean, what more can I say? By the way, Goodyear, we're very grateful, but the weather, what's going on?
I think they're trying to tell us something, didn't they? Like, I mean, come on guys, you've got to test these tyres in the wet.
Yeah, it's a wet weather test apparently.
I have the Supersport Rs, of course, and Aaron has the Supersports, which are a more all-rounder, like everyday use performance tyre. Yeah, one size fits all. Sort of a step up from the asymmetrics, and I've got a more more track-focused tyre. Yes. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit more sketchy for me, I think, today. But yeah, we are in a random car park.
Sorry, I've just spotted a ditch over there with your name on it. It says calling you. Oh, Chris, come over here.
Yeah, maybe by the end of this video, we'll be calling them ditch finders, not Supersports. But yeah, so I've got Aaron with me because we're going to do a comparison test. And before you in the comments going, well, they're two completely different cars, we know that. Don't state the obvious. Although the cars are different, the tyres are somewhat comparable. So we will be giving our opinions on this very wet day. But the plan is we're going to do a road trip from wherever the hell we are now, all the way to Whitby. And we're going to give these guys, well, I've got my cameraman over there and Aaron here, and they've never been to Whitby before. They're uncultured swines. So I'm going to treat them to a fish and chips and then tell them to go on their merry way.
I mean, the irony is, I live in Worthing, which is on the coast. I've come all this way for some fish and chips when I could have just ordered some and had my feet up in the dry. So
unfortunately, because of the weather, we're not going to be doing much filming outside of the car. So this may not be the most dynamic video of them all, but at least we're here and we're taking part. That's all that matters.
Yep.
But anyway, enough waffle. We're going to jump in the car and go and get wet. Did you bring your speedos, mate?
No, I got my snorkel though.
Swim, swim, swim. My warm car. Let's get this road trip on the way. Now I've got Aaron behind me, and I'm actually quite jealous of him for once because he's got tyres that are probably more suited for today. Don't get me wrong, the Supersport Rs are able to do this sort of driving. Don't be scared by it. Now, there's a lot of water on the road, but yeah, there have been some sketchy parts, but that's to be expected with any tyre really. It's just going to help you not find its limit as quickly as these do. But no, so if you didn't know, in the top right hand corner you can go and watch my part 1 of 2 videos where I went to Snetterton for the day and Goodyear allowed me to test a tyre there in this very car. And I have to say I was blown away by it. I've had a lot of experience with using like sort of road going performance tyres that say they offer track sort of properties so you can use them on circuit, and they've sort of died off pretty quickly, whereas the Supersport Rs on track, they were just brilliant. They didn't really give me much trouble, especially understeer, because this car really does struggle with it when you start pushing it more and more and more. And that was with tyre pressures that were through the roof. Now, of course, it's a bit easier on the road. You don't have to worry about things like that because usually you're not really pushing the car to the limit. Now, it's quite amusing because at Snetterton, I had pretty much sunny weather all day, so I didn't really get to see what the tyres were like in wet conditions, finding the wet line, etc, etc. Whereas today, we've been blessed with a plethora of rain. It's unreal. And yeah, it's quite worrying because I want to push this car, but at the same time I don't want to find the nearest ditch. So it's a balancing act on what I do, whereas Aaron's probably not going to have as much problems in that department.
Now, I've been testing the Goodyear Eagle F1 Supersport tyre for over a year now, and if you're not familiar with my face or my channel, please do head over to Car Obsession to check out my views. So I've done a track test, I've just talked about my opinion on them as a road tyre, and I have been very, very impressed. Believe it or not, despite living in the UK, I haven't actually tested this compound that much in the wet. So as much as the weather is far from appealing, it does give me the opportunity to test the tyre in wetter conditions, which I haven't really done. The Supersport is one step up from the Eagle F1 asymmetric, and as such it gives you more performance, and it has more, I'd say, race-bred technologies in the tyre. And you may think, well, a tyre is just made of a metal frame and rubber, how can it have technology? But for example, the Supersport's got stiffer sidewalls, it's got something called the power shoulder to help with handling. And if you go onto Goodyear's website, or if you've watched any of my content on my channel, you will see the technologies that Goodyear has put into this tyre. Now, of course, there is step ups from this tyre. So Chris has the Supersport R, which is even more focused towards track use. You can still use it on the road, of course, but it is more, it's swaying more towards circuit use than road use. Oh, we're pulling over.
Do you mind if I to conduct a lecture on tyres?
I think Chris is having to unplug his dash cam, because I think his dash cam talks a lot. Like yours truly.
Oh, I can disconnect the dash cam because it kept interrupting me.
Told you. Should have put my money on it. Yeah, I had a feeling that's what you were doing. Where was I? Yes. Then of course you have the Supersport R, which, as I've mentioned, gives you even more performance, more so on circuit. And then you also have the Supersport RS, which is the kind of zenith of the Eagle F1 range. Now, neither of us have tested that tyre, so I can't really give you any comments or opinions on that. But I mean, if it's anything like the Supersports, where they're going to be even better than the Supersports, not so much in this kind of weather, of course, but on a nice, hot, dry, sticky race circuit, then I'm sure they're going to be absolutely mind-blowing.
Cheeky national speed limit. Let's take a brave pill and see what these tyres can do. Now, as soon as Aaron will be talking about the Supersport, and I'll be talking about the Supersport Rs, of course, I will hark back to when I've had a few tries with his car testing out the Supersports, because he wanted to just get my opinion when we was at the circuit, because of course Aaron got the exact same tyres with Goodyear, and he did a track day as well. I think he was at Donington, if I'm right in saying. And although they are more of a all-rounder, they're pretty much an evolution to the asymmetric tyre. And again, I was very impressed. Of course, the day was dry, which was very interesting, and there's a big ass puddle. Of course, I can't go through puddles like a madman because I've got an open filter, and I really don't want water in my engine, because water doesn't belong in an engine. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the Supersports really did impress me, considering that they are sort of as Goodyear quote, an all-round road tyre, even though they have high performance capabilities. So I was intrigued more so with the Supersport Rs when I got them, because obviously I got them quite a few months after Aaron got his. So yeah, I was very interested to see how they'd cope, because towards the end of the day, the tyres did start struggling on the lay-on, but I think that was more to do with driving style more than anything. And yeah, once you start over driving a car, no matter the tyre, you will start destroying it, and yeah, the car would inevitably understeer and then drive like a bag of nails. But yeah, the Supersport R's on track. I won't give too much away. Really did blow my mind. So if you haven't, make sure you go and watch that video. It took me a long time to edit it, so I would appreciate if you go over there, drop a comment, and let us know if you've experienced these Supersport tyres, because I am a big advocate for Goodyear. I mean, I run Eagle F1s on all my cars, especially my 140i now, and it's transformed it. It grips so much more, especially that I've got a 140i with almost 460 horsepower at the rear wheels. So good tyres are paramount.
The Supersports compared to my previous setup, I'd say the ride is a little bit firmer, although it's more controlled, it's more composed, if that makes any kind of sense. Road noise, I'd say there's not much in it. I think from memory, from what I discussed previously quite some time ago, I think these are perhaps a little bit quieter, but yeah, there's not much in it. I'd say there's more feedback when turning. The initial turning feels just that little bit sharper, a bit crisper. And of course the grip is fantastic. Even in wet conditions such as these.
Now, like in the track day video, eagle-eyed viewers would have noticed that I'm running 18-inch tyres on this car, and that's for, well, an obvious reason. Goodyear only make these tyres starting from 18 inches all the way up to 23 if I'm correct. And it's a bit annoying because I do suffer with some rubbing, not very often. It's more when you come to divots in the road and you're taking them at speed, you will hear the arches rub a bit with the tyre. But other than that, the car's been fine running 18s. Now, these actual alloys are from a Mark 8 ST line, and I think they actually suit the car very well, although after my shenanigans with these tyres, I think I will be going back to 17s because, yeah, it has affected the ride very so slightly, but in the grand scheme of things, this car rides terribly. I mean, falling down a flight of stairs with no dignity left is probably better than driving around in this, because yeah, these are very notorious for breaking your back.
Oh, traction control kicking in again. I think we should have a drinking game. You should have a drink every time you see the traction control being triggered on my Speedo. Ah! Yeah, apart from the puddles that just want to send you any way they see fit, the tyres do genuinely still inspire confidence, even in these conditions. Yeah, it's just the puddles that of course, the ones to watch out for.
And another thing I've noticed, which in a car like this isn't really a problem, is miles per gallon. Now, I usually get about 45, 46 to the gallon, and you're probably wondering, well, hold on, Chris, you're getting 46 to the gallon in a Fiesta ST. No, I usually generally drive this car to work, so I'm never really going like Mad Max everywhere, so I'm always getting really good fuel. Whereas now I've noticed with these tyres, I'm getting 10 miles per gallon less, which is quite a lot. And of course, again, it's pretty obvious, I'm running a bigger wheel, so there's more rotational mass, etc, etc. I'm no scientist, no technical nerd, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But yeah, it's inevitably made my fuel economy worse, and yeah, I'm visiting the petrol station a little bit more often. Not as much as my 140i. I'm in the petrol station with that every 4 days. Hello, good sir. Have you had any squeaky bum moments yet, or need to change your pants?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm touching cloth.
Did you bring a spare pair of underpants?
The irony is I did, but not for that reason.
Oh, it's fine, mate. You can turn them inside out, and then you can wash them and then hang them up to dry, and then you can get probably 4 or 5 days out of the pants you've got on, mate.
Well, there we are. You came here for tyre advice, and you got consumer advice as well on underpants.
Come on, mate. You're meant to be keeping up with me. You've got loads more power.
Well, now I've heard your revelation about what you do to your underpants, I think I can smell you from here, so I'm just keeping my distance.
Funny guy. On a serious note though, I am very impressed with these tyres, considering the amount of water on the road. The car's holding up pretty well so far. I don't want to jinx it.
Well, of course, you've got the R's, so your tyres are even more track focused than mine, so yeah. Did you take your Brave pill this morning?
I took some kind of pill, but don't think it's doing its job.
Is it that little blue one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I've heard about those. Oh, a heron. I mean, this road may as well be a pond, so yeah, you're in the right place. Oh, I like this bit. Oh, a little bit of slippage at the back there. The car, not me. Yes, what I was about to say was, it's not quite as awe-inspiring as the Buttertufts Pass that I drove earlier in the year, but hey, it's not bad. It certainly beats the M1, which I was stuck on for a very long time last night. Oh, Leo, you are a beast. Absolute beast. Oh, it's bumpy down here. Now this is nice. Wet, but nice.
I'm really excited. But despite this weather, it's safe to say these tyres are still giving me some confidence. Of course, I would be pushing it a lot more if we had dry weather, but it's doing pretty well, all things considered. And especially this being a front-wheel drive car, like Aaron's is as well, but he's got like 150 more horsepower than me. I'm not really seeing the traction light come on too much when I'm low down. Of course, it will squirm a bit, but yeah, I'm very surprised considering the amount of water and the amount of time it's been raining since we got here. It's crazy to think that we're from the south of the UK and we've got some good driving roads, but just come up north and you can have so many different driving roads to choose from. It's crazy. And they're all in pretty good condition as well, which is very surprising. And of course you get these lovely views, which unfortunately you can only see out the front window because we haven't got any cameras around the car because it's soaking wet, and I don't really want to lose any more cameras than I already have. Whee! That is steep. I did not expect that. Oh, here we go. What is, oh, look at that. And you get wildlife, of course. Usually you get greeted with sheep, but instead we get greeted with whatever the hell that was. Yeah, I'm not very cultured, so bird watchers, don't shoot me down in the comments. So this is actually great because we're on some twisty bits now, so it's going to be a lot of like low gears and trying to pull out of corners, so it'll give us a good indication to how the tyres are coping. And then plant the throttle out the corner. Yeah, it squirms a bit, and there we go, the traction. Which I'd argue actually makes it a little bit more fun when you get in a traction line. The car's trying to squirm for grip, and inevitably you never find any, and then you end up in a wall. But yeah, that's for another day.
God, how steep? God, blimey.
You seem awfully quiet. Are you enjoying yourself, or are you a bit scared?
I'm enjoying myself, mate.
Good man, good man.
And also longing for coffee.
Well, you shouldn't have turned up at 1 in the morning then, should you? And then sleep in your car.
Look, you should be grateful that I wasn't knocking on your door at 1 o'clock in the morning, going, let me in, let me in.
Yeah, bright spot behind me decided to turn up, drive all the way from Worthing to where we stayed last night, and yeah, did the whole journey in the evening and got stuck in masses of traffic, and yeah, then decided to sleep in his car because he, bless him, didn't want to disturb either me or the cameraman. No, he's an idiot, but I do love him, so I'm very grateful for him coming. But at least we've got these views and roads to make up for it, despite him probably being half asleep, which is probably not the greatest of ideas, but if he drove off there, it'd definitely wake him up, I think.
Whoa.
Right. We've stopped off on one of the Yorkshire moors. I do not know what it's called. I think it's Bleakley Blakely Bank, whatever it is. I'm so uncultured at this point, but
whatever it is,
the rain has destroyed me.
Whatever it is beautiful.
Yes, it is. And somehow he's managed to find a Costa in the middle of nowhere. Wow.
There's
I can see it over there.
There's a sheep that's got a stall just out the back.
They're making a killing. But yeah, before we'd stop off, just take in some of the scenery because it is lovely around here, despite it looking like Voldemort's lair. Look at the sky, it's like death, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on like how you've been coping with the driving. I know we've obviously joked about you needing underpants, which is, yeah, it's probably still true.
That's definitely you, because don't forget, I've got wider tyres than you.
Yes, you do actually, yeah.
And they're a bit more road focused than yours. So, I mean, if anyone needs the underpants, I'd say it's you.
Well, despite those, those facts, those clear-cut facts, I'm very impressed with the tyres. And I, as much as they're track-focused tyres, and they were great at Snetterton, like they are really, really good here. And I'm not just saying that, they are really, really good. And like some of the puddles we've been going through, you could swim in them, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I'm very impressed.
In one of them, there's a family of ducks. I mean, believe it or not, we both live in the UK, and I haven't actually driven these tyres that much in the wet. And you may think, well, Aaron, you're just lying, but that is the God honest truth. There's been some months where Goodyear have asked me for feedback and said, "What's the wet grip like?" I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't driven it in the wet.
Really had, no. we have rain for like 6 months of the year, and then they ask the question like that.
Yeah.
Likely to try and get an answer, but no, we haven't driven them in the wet. But yeah, because we both did track days in the dry. Yes. So we obviously found out the limits in the dry conditions, but it would have been nice to have them in the wet. Yeah. So it is sort of a blessing in disguise, as much as the rain does somewhat hamper the mood. As soon as you come up to a place like this, it sort of decimates that mood,
it does.
doesn't it?
It's just absolutely beautiful.
But yeah. But I think we're working up an appetite at the minute, aren't we? I mean,
getting there.
It's a bit.
It's still a bit early.
It's 10:15, so I don't think it's the sort of time to be diving into a big, massive fish and chips, is it?
No, not just yet.
But we could start a trend breakfast fish and chips.
Yeah, why not?
With tartar sauce. Yeah. Oh, imagine that. But yeah.
Wash it down to the mushy peas.
Oh, it's making me feel sick and actually putting me off getting fish and chips, so don't say any more about it. But yeah, we're going to head back in the car, enjoy the rest of this lovely scenery and of course the roads, and yeah, we'll catch you guys probably in Whitby at this point. Yes. And hopefully the sun decides to grace its presence, because we really do need it.
It's starting to come out.
Yeah, it's starting to. It's getting a bit lazy, but yeah. Anyway, right, on the road we shall go. Right, let's give it a plant at the junction. Spinning in second. And spinning in third. Yeah. There's a slight lack of grip, but it's alright, we'll gloss over that. But honestly, if you've got a group of mates and you all love driving, get in a WhatsApp group and just go, look boys, let's just go somewhere up north, whether it's Yorkshire, whether it's the Peak Districts, whether it's even Scotland, you will not regret it. And if you've got a group of mates with all tasty cars like what we've got, well, I think we've got tasty cars. The Leon and the Fiesta are a good combination for driving pleasure, especially on roads like this. Even though they haven't got bundles of power, it's not all about that. It's about the handling mostly and the driving satisfaction you get. Just do it. You only live once at the end of the day. And if you are going to do it, make sure you get some Goodyear tyres. Yeah. I'm not just saying that because it's sponsored. I actually genuinely love Goodyear, and the fact that they've sponsored me and made me a part of the Supersport program, I am so blessed, honestly.
What's your grip like?
Grip? What's that? No, generally on a serious note, I am pretty impressed with how the tyres are performing, considering that these aren't really, although they're a road legal tyre, they're more catered for track driving. And although at standstill I'm pretty much spinning all the way into third gear, like when we're on the move, you just modulate the throttle and the tyres are pretty much with you all the time. How about you?
Yeah, they're doing pretty well in all honesty. Apart from the puddles, they do inspire confidence.
Yeah, considering your tyres are about 100 years old, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
They're barely over a year, not 100.
Yeah, for the viewers, do you know, because I know you're very nerdy like this, have you kept track of how many miles you've done with the tyres?
I've tried to. Annoyingly, when the tyres were fitted, they didn't put the mileage down, but from memory, I think I reset the trip computer and I haven't reset it since, and it's on 3,985.
That's pretty good, and considering that you've done quite a lot of track driving on them and road, it's pretty good, mate.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah, for me, I think I've done around probably over 1,000 miles with these tyres, so yeah, I haven't really driven the car as much as you've driven yours.
Now here's a very nerdy statement. You can tell Chris's tyres are still quite new by the amount of water that is being dispersed by them. As you may be able to see on this camera here, his car's kicking up loads of water, and that means that the channels and treads within the tyre that are designed to disperse water and get it away from the tyre, they're working well. As the tyre wears down and you don't get that same dispersion of water, you don't get that effect. There we go. Every day's a school day. So if you're ever stuck behind a car on the motorway and the tyres are kicking off loads of water, it's probably because they're new, or at least very good condition in regard to tread.
It feels like we've got the road to ourselves. It's crazy. We haven't seen anyone for ages, and when we have, they've been driving like Miss Daisy and stopped off somewhere along the way. But literally, it's like we've almost got this road closed. Evo Car Magazine, eat your heart out. Right, so now it's starting to experience some standing water on the road, and at higher speeds you do start to lose grip at the front end. It comes very light, but that's generally the nature of front wheel drive cars when you hit standing water. But as I said, I've experienced the exact same behaviour with tyres that have got sort of more all-rounder capabilities to them, so there is no real difference to it. You just have to be on your A game and just modulate the throttle just to keep it in check. Now the rain's probably coming down again.
Time for a bit more nerdiness now. In the UK, the legal limit for a tyre is 1.6 millimetres. The average new tyre, you get about 7-8 millimetres. Of course, if it's a knobbly off-road, that's a completely different kettle of fish. But if your tyre gets to 3 millimetres or below, even if it's still legal, replace it. The reason for that is because, okay, granted, when you're driving in dry, warm conditions, performance-wise, you probably won't notice much of a difference. But particularly in weather like this, your wet braking is compromised. I can't remember the stat off the top of my head, but I think on average, depending on the car, the tyre weight, etc., with a tyre that's 3 millimetres or below, your braking distance in the wet can be increased by, I think it's around 40 something metres, and that is a fair distance. And also, if you're going to get tyres, don't be afraid to spend a bit more and get quality. Budget tyres are appealing, but from experience, I work in the motor trade, you'll find a budget tyre, it will have a kind of, not a top layer as such, but it will give you pretty good performance for the first few thousand miles, and then when it gets to a certain tread depth, I mean, the tyre will pretty much just be trash. And part ones, no, don't go anywhere near part ones. You don't know what you're getting yourself in for. I would never, ever recommend part ones.
I think it's about time that we get our heads down and really take in what Yorkshire's given us and make our way to Whitby. And even though it's currently probably like 9:30 in the morning, I am quite craving a fish and chips right now. But at least with all this driving and all this concentration without putting it into a field or a cliffside, yeah, I'm going to work up an appetite at the time we get to Whitby. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll stop on the way just to admire some of the views. You've got to really when you come here. It's not just all about the driving, it's taking in some of the culture too. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with Aaron and yeah, see you at some point soon. So, time to conclude. Unfortunately, for the first time ever, we're filming inside a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I managed to blag it by using my good looks and charms.
No, he paid the waitress about 20 quid, I think.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
25.
yeah, she just saw my Greek side and she was like, oh, what a handsome chap.
Yeah, that must be it.
Anyway, another side, we are in Quayside. It's
Yes.
meant to be the highest rated place to eat fish and chips, apparently. So that's why I brought you lovely people here.
In Whitby or the whole world?
Well, people in Whitby probably say the whole world.
Yeah, fair point.
So yeah, so we're about to tuck into a lovely fish and chips. Aaron,
starving.
you're going to be doing dishes. I can't pay for this as well, mate.
No, I mean, I've done worse things for payment for you. I mean, what?
But yeah, anyway, let's get to the topic in point. The Goodyear tyre test.
Yes.
In pretty much speedo territory, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
literally, we may as well have just got out of the car and had a swimming race.
I mean, boats would have been a bit better for this test
definitely.
than cars.
Yeah. My new tow car would have been probably suited to this weather, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
very yacht-like.
But anyway, yeah, I'm very surprised by the performance of my tyres, especially them being more track focused.
Yeah.
And this was an easy task for you, mate.
Well,
you just turned up.
Well, you haven't died, so I mean, you're doing well.
And I didn't put it in a ditch.
Yeah.
So great success all round.
Yeah. Of course, for me, the Supersport tyres are more road biased, and therefore they will react a little bit better in the wet.
Yeah.
But even so, they are still performance tyres. And yeah, I was really surprised by their performance.
Yeah, I'd put down hands down that if you're going to use the car like, as an everyday tool, go for Supersports over Supersport R's.
Yeah.
Even without going in your car, I tell that from experience from other tyres.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you've driven my car with the Supersports on, haven't you?
yeah,
Sure
but
you have.
not in the wet though.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I've just taken from experience without having driving your car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had fun. Despite the rain, the road trip made it all worth it, and sort of the rain then became an afterthought, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The rain wasn't ideal, but we still had fun, and it's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
Oh, cliche.
But as I said like earlier on in the video, if you've got a group of mates and you want to just get out for the weekend,
Just do it.
Honestly, just go up north and find driving roads because it is awesome. And hopefully, if you guys are interested, I want to host a driving weekend with followers. Obviously, Aaron, my camera guy Carl as well. Just get a group of people out, all like-minded people. I think it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's just the task of organising it and getting everyone to come. That'll be the next task, isn't it?
Getting everyone to turn up on the right day.
But yeah, anyway, I feel we're awkward filming in a restaurant. Everyone's looking at us like we're aliens. Well, he's an alien. I don't know what I am. I'm just a different specimen altogether. So, yeah.
I mean, that sounds like an alien to me, but okay. please proceed.
But yeah, big thanks to Goodyear for yet again sponsoring today's video and getting me involved, and obviously Aaron's been involved with Goodyear as well.
Yes.
And
thank you, Goodyear.
yeah, leave your comments and feedback in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to this stranger.
And comment.
He needs it. He's a small channel. He's just started out. He needs as much subs as he can get. So yeah.
Thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me.
No worries, mate. But until next time, I will see you all soon. Goodbye. Time for fish and chips. But until then, let's get a bit internet.
Not now, not here. I've told you this before.
Goodbye.